You're listening to DraftKings Network.
ABC Thursdays.
Welcome back.
Grey's Anatomy is all new.
Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?
The drama going down
Bungee jumping from the bridge, his cord snapped.
We need all hands on deck.
is unbelievable.
You think you're God's gift to this hospital?
You're just another doctor.
My relationship with Catherine is complicated.
I'm gonna sue you.
Your lawyers know where to find me.
You're unbelievable.
Grey's Anatomy. All new Thursdays, 10, 9 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Fuentes, taking a shot.
God bless football, Stugotz.
It was an unnecessary shot. You made him bend, you made him twist, you made him turn. Anyway, we have a big weekend coming up. Bunch of big games in the NFL. The biggest college football game of the year, of course. Alabama and Georgia coming up. Oh, yeah. Mike Golic going to join us. Chris Sims is going to join us. We'll make some picks on the audio side here. I have my picks right here on TV for you. Billy, why'd you make that sound when I said Alabama, Georgia? Just because that's a big game sound?
Yeah, I just love the days of appointment viewing television. And I know that your whole argument is going to be it's not the case anymore, but man.
I'll be glued.
Georgia, Alabama still does it for me. I still will sit down and watch Georgia, Alabama every time.
Yeah.
So here's my question. In a few weeks, Georgia plays Texas. Or is that one more appointment viewing or Georgia, Alabama?
Well,
because one of them is 1 versus 2,
right?
But the other one is Georgia, Bama, and it might be 2-4, but I think that one's probably bigger.
It's a 2-4 that feels like a 1-2. If Georgia wins now, if Georgia beats Alabama this week, then automatically that game becomes bigger against Texas. But if you're asking me right now before the games are played, Georgia, Alabama, or Georgia, Texas, which one do I want to see? I'm with Billy. I still love Georgia, Alabama. I
agree.
Yeah, it's such a great game. Yeah.
For this week, this is the game that I want to see. Now, 2 weeks from now is 2 weeks from now. And by the way, 2 weeks from now, that game will be for number 1 in the country, right? And it could be a situation where like the one like flips again. Like if Georgia beats Alabama, they may become the number 1 team in the country after this week. So, I guys, listen, I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
To the two of you, to the audience, to Fuentes, if he's around somewhere. I don't know if he's around. I love football.
Yeah.
College, NFL. I just love it so much.
So do I. I mean, yeah, that's why we do the show. I mean,
it's just sometimes I think, is it real? Is it lust? No, it's love. I love it. I love it in all forms. In the NFL, in the college, in fantasy. We have a weekly fantasy league that you can compete against us, presented by Smirnoff, the world's number 1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. If you want to compete against us, go to dkng.co/Smirnoff. I just love it. I love picking my teams. I love watching the games. It's just, there's something about it in all forms. This contest, they give you a budget, $50,000. You have to figure out how to make it work. Boom, boom, boom. You plug people in. If you finish in the top, whatever it is, you win a ton of money. If you finish out of it, you don't win a ton of money. But even other fantasy leagues, I love my roster construction. I just love sitting back and watching football. And I don't know why it is this way. And I don't know how to quit it.
It's America's game. That's it. I mean, that's
not America's pastime, though.
No. Well, I'm not certain. I think we're inching closer towards it being America's pastime because no one cares about baseball. I'm sorry.
I think baseball is safe in calling itself America's pastime from now until the end of time, because I don't think anyone uses the word pastime anymore. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't really come up in conversation.
You're right.
It's like, how do you like to pass the time, fella? And it's like, oh, my favorite pastime is football. Like no one speaks like that anymore. So baseball did a good job of branding itself America's pastime because no one will take that word and actually use it to describe anything moving forward. So it's fine.
Let me throw a wrench into the question we were asking earlier about the game you're most excited for, because if Georgia wins, it would naturally be Georgia, Texas in 2 weeks. But if Alabama wins, Billy, that same weekend, you love football, Billy. It's a big weekend coming up in 3 weeks. That same weekend, if Bama wins, they would play Tennessee. How about that?
It's a big weekend regardless. Is this the October 12th weekend?
Yes.
October 12th is something that has been on every college football fan's calendar since the schedule came out. Like I think October 12th
circled
is like
it, right? Yeah.
the biggest college football weekend we've had in a long time. And then October 19th, more big games. It's just football. It's just football. It's incredible. And that's just Saturdays. Then you have the Sunday games, which is the NFL.
And then Monday, a pair of Monday night games. I mean,
well, hold on.
Don't forget Thursday.
Oh, no, that weekend. I'm talking about this weekend. There's a pair of Monday nights this weekend, and there was last weekend. I have no idea if there is that weekend. That's the weekend. You're right. That's the weekend.
But this Monday,
well,
Dolphins, Titans.
Yeah, well, it's a big game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, but you get Seattle,
Seattle, Detroit's a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit's. But Billy's looking to that weekend, the weekend that everyone circled. And what you do is you circle the entire weekend. You don't just circle a game. It's just the whole weekend, right?
Correct.
But Billy's seeing if there's 2 Monday night games that weekend. I'm certain that's what he's checking. What do we have? Listen, we will talk plenty about this week in a second with Golic and Sims, but we're talking about 3 weeks from now. What do you got, Billy?
Guys.
Yeah.
Cancel your plans.
Everything?
Done.
Everything.
Okay.
Done.
October 12th through October 14th. Whatever you're doing out there, listener, don't do it. Cancel it because we've gone over the October 12th.
Yeah.
October 14th.
You're right.
Monday Night Football.
Right.
Bills at Jets.
Oh, my God.
Jets,
oh,
Bills.
my God. Oh, my God. I love football.
Jets, Bills.
I just love it. I love football.
I love you.
In order to have a nightcap, you need to have a night first. Make good on some bets, then pour some smoothness in your glass with Larceny Weeded Bourbon. Whether propelling your parlay with a refreshing paper plane or celebrating a big payout with a classic Kentucky Mule, Larceny has all the flavor you need to craft cocktails so tasty they'll have you toasting victory like a high roller. You're in charge, so lock in the call. Find a bottle near you at larcenybourbon.com and seize tonight. God Bless Football is brought to you by Larceny Bourbon, Bardstown, Kentucky. 46% alcohol by volume. Think wisely, drink wisely.
We are well into the college season. We're into the NFL season, Mike. We're starting to find out who's who. I mean, this is very exciting, Mike.
Well, yeah. I mean, usually about a quarter of the way into the season, especially in college, it takes a little bit of time because they have no preseason games. But even in the NFL, you kind of find out who you are, and you find out who the mass unit teams are. Like the 49ers are certainly one of them this year. But if you're going to get hurt, better to get hurt early than late. You have a chance to heal up during the season and have your guys available at the end of the season. So it is amazing 4 weeks in the trends we find.
I want to talk to you about some of the big games this weekend, and we will in just a minute. You got Notre Dame, Fighting Irish, taking on Louisville. That's going to be a tricky game. You have Penn State, Illinois. You have Alabama, Georgia, of course, the big game of the weekend. And there's a situation at UNLV I want to get into with you as well. But within the NFL, Mike, it is interesting because I noticed you have your Eagles jersey on. You played for the Eagles. It's not a jersey; it's a shirt. I'm sorry.
It's a boat.
It's a boat.
It's a
my
boat.
God! It looks like the Eagle. Now listen, with the microphone right down the middle there, it looks like two wings. Does it not?
That's a boat on the trailer.
It's a boat.
I'm gonna get no support on this.
No, you're not. No.
Everyone can see it. It's hard to support you.
Okay. I mean, no. Put the boat right in the middle, right there. That does not look like two wings of an eagle. You're right.
No.
You guys are right. No, you know what? You're right. It doesn't. It doesn't. Anyway, Mike played for the Eagles, so I'm interested here, Mike, because they're 2-1. They could easily be 3-0 if not for a Saquon Barkley drop. You have a coach in Nick Sirianni who I think is the only Eagles coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. I am rattled by what I just did. That has made the playoffs in his first 3 seasons, including a Super Bowl, including being a play away from beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And yet here he is, 3 playoff appearances, 2-1, should be 3-0, and he's on the hot seat. Should he?
I listen. At the end of the day, it's about winning and losing in pro sports. And when they were 10-1 last year and then just folded, you could understand. And then you go to 3 different offensive and defensive coordinators in 3 years. So it's 3 different systems that you're learning, both offensively and defensively. But they still, like you said, we're making the playoffs. But it just seems like there's I don't know if it's a butting of the heads or just a miscommunication with Nick and with Jalen. And that's who you got to have one of the best relationships with, is with your quarterback. Not to say that everybody needs to be singing Kumbaya. You can win without that. But we thought last year at 10-1 was a great team, but turns out it was a flawed team, especially when injuries came into play and the linebacker position and the secondary. They hadn't had a lot of pressures early in the season, but boy, that New Orleans game, that D-line, especially Jalen Carter, was just a man amongst boys in that game. And you're right. Now they got a Tampa Bay team with Baker Mayfield, the gritty quarterback. It's a interesting matchup.
Mike, speaking of quarterbacks, is Josh Allen the best quarterback in the NFL?
Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean,
wow.
He is just, And the thing about it is, we talk about Stephon Diggs being gone. That was the big name, but he wasn't as productive the last half of the season. They switched a lot of players at a lot of positions. They were one of the big movers of releasing players or players leaving and bringing in new players, and they have all gelled very well together. James Cook coming out of the backfield has been fantastic.
Amazing.
And Shakir has been great out of the slot. Then Josh Allen obviously running the ball. So, and the defense, those 2 interior defensive linemen led by Ed Oliver, just I have their game this week, Buffalo at Baltimore, and man, I am looking forward to it. But Josh is really playing some ball.
Billy, how do you feel about that? I mean, Mike Golic just said that Josh Allen was better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
this seems to be the thing that's happening right now. Like, Josh Allen's having a moment. People are kind of buying in on Josh Allen. He did also, the Bills did get off to a hot start last year, and things kind of, through 3-4 weeks, then slowed down. So we'll see. I mean, it's early in the season still, right?
That's exactly right. We're talking about right now, and that's what we do. We make these week to week, definite statements that change week to week. But right now, Josh Allen is playing better than Pat Mahomes. I just did the Chiefs Atlanta game, and they just, Pat looks off. Normally hitting receivers in stride, but throwing behind, underthrowing for an interception in the end zone. And listen, he's the first to admit he's not happy with the way this offense is playing. Kind of like last year when they won the Super Bowl, but he wasn't happy with the way the offense was playing. But yet here they are undefeated. They're pulling out wins by not playing their best on offense and not playing their best on defense right now. As I said, bottom line in pro sports, W's and L's.
Mike, what do you think of that? I know you're covering the game. You can't make an official pick, but help us break that down a little bit, because it is the big game of the weekend. The Ravens need another victory. The Bills are trying to stay undefeated. What do you think about that game?
Well, I mean, listen, it's Derrick Henry running the ball, against 2 like I said, really good interior D tackles for Buffalo. So between the tackles is going to be interesting to see how that goes. You look at the secondary for Baltimore, 4 different players in the secondary have given up over 100 yards in receiving. So they have been susceptible to the pass. They've only given up 1 run of over 10 yards, but they've given up 28 big passing plays. So they are struggling against the pass with the secondary. So that's obviously where I would look for Buffalo to attack in this game.
Mike, I'm looking at your shirt and I see you have a tiger on there right in the middle. So I want to ask you about the Cincinnati Bengals.
Man, I'm not going to let that one down. Man, I knew it. And nor should I, by the way. It's clearly a vote.
Nor should you. I want to ask you about the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, this is a team that a lot of people are picking, we're picking to go to the Super Bowl, and here they sit, not able to get a win again.
And a lot of people talk about Joe Burrow and the offense. And like we talked about, you kind of throw out their first two games because while Zach Taylor's been there, he's 1-9. The team is 1-9 in their first two games of the season during his tenure. But then they give up 38 to Washington. Listen, you score 33, you should win. But their defense has got some problems. Their defense absolutely has some problems in stopping people. So that to me is the worry. Them scoring points is not a big worry for me. The running attack is a little iffy to me, but their passing attack with Burrow and T. Higgins was back, and obviously Jamar Chase. The offense can put up points, but are you going to get into a score for score game because your defense is kind of the part of the team, certainly last week, that let them down?
Mike, Brian Kelly was on this show with us last year. He told us that Jaden Daniels was going to be the best player in the draft. He's biased. He was his coach at LSU. But Jaden Daniels, at least early on, looks like he is going to be the best player to come out of this draft. Are you surprised by that?
No, I picked him as offensive rookie of the year. Wow. I thought because of his running ability and with that kind of newish offensive line that he would have to run some. And he's run the second most. He's run 38 times, averaged 4.5 yards a carry. And I don't think we've seen how dangerous he can be with his legs just yet. We're seeing his arm is doing a great job. He hasn't turned the ball over. 80% completion right in that area there. It's been ridiculous. No turnovers, though, just 2 touchdowns. So I think he is just scratching the surface on and that's what you hear about him in the training camp and preseason is how comfortable he is in picking up the offense and the poise he's showing picking up the offense. So I think that has been obviously a big feather in his cap. And they don't have a ton of talent around them, or like Brian Robinson running, Austin Eckler obviously catching the ball, and McLaurin catching the ball. But I love what he's doing right now. He seems to be in sync with his offense more than the other two rookie starters. So Bo Nix had a pretty good game between Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, who basically is running for his life and certainly having his growing pains as well.
Guys, I have to think Golic is loving today's NFL, where the points are at a premium. Defense is back. Running game is back. You love this, Golic. Look at that smile on your face. You love it. It's football, Mike.
Well, until like Mel Kiper said, they outlaw the cover 2, and take it out of football. As I said, I love Mel, but that was just a bad statement. Listen. The scoring is down. Defenses are saying, hey, if we can play to cover 2 and stop the run, we're golden. Offense, do something about it. And what the offense needs to do about it is they need to run the ball. They need to run the ball effectively. But I think what you're seeing is because of cover 2, you're seeing short passes, you're seeing hitches, you're seeing slants, you're seeing short crossing routes, and you try to get yards after the catch. So you're not getting the big hitting home run balls anymore. And then if you methodically move the ball down the field, when you get in the red zone, the field shrinks. And now it's tougher to complete that pass in the end zone because you have the end zone obviously as another defensive person. So you're seeing more field goals. So it's time for the offense. It's kind of like when Buddy Ryan ran the 46 defense in Chicago and then brought it to us in Philadelphia. I mean, we were devastating with it for a while, and then the offense figures out, well, if we can run the corners, run the outside off tackles effectively, you can break the 46 a little bit. It's just a chess match. What's working offensively? We know rules are set up for the offense, but this particular defense is working now in the NFL, and the offense has to find a way to break it.
Mike, we'll get to college in just a second here, but I'm wondering your thoughts on what Antonio Pierce had to say after their loss to Carolina, where he said guys are out there making business decisions. I think it's a little too early to make a business decision. It's week 3, and he said, therefore, we as a team, as an organization, are going to have to start making some business decisions. What'd you make of that? I thought it was fascinating, the fact that 3 weeks in, he's accusing his players of choosing themselves over the team.
Well, I mean, if you watch some of the play, you can see players of avoiding hits, avoiding blocks, and it's not stunning that coming from a former linebacker and Antonio Pierce. Linebackers are usually some of the toughest players there are. And there is, let me tell you, two things that are bad during a game and then after a game. During a game, it's what happened to the Cowboys getting run on by Baltimore the way they did. I would rather a team pass for 500 yards than get run on for 200 some yards. It is the worst way a defense can get beat, when you just physically get punched in the face over and over and over again. And then the other bad thing is if you are caught on tape not hustling, not giving your all, avoiding a block, running around a block, not hustling to a play, because that's for everybody to see. The eye in the sky does not lie. They do the thing on defense. I know we did, and teams still do it, called a pursuit drill, where in practice you throw the ball out wide, the receiver runs up the sideline, and everybody pursues at a ball. Run your balls off to the ball. And that's the expectation in the game. And when you see players not giving their all, not running, avoiding contact on defense, it is there for everybody. The coach shouldn't even need to point it out. Everybody sees it and everybody knows it.
Mike, how did your team back in the day, the Eagles, how would as making business decisions out on the field? Would that be handled by players like Reggie, you, Jerome? Would that be handled by Buddy Ryan? I think what Billy's clamoring for is, hey, if you're going to make a business decision and you're the coach and you're going to call it out, make a statement. Buddy Ryan would have cut that kid's ass, man.
Buddy Ryan would have cut somebody. Yes.
Literally.
Or if not, would have obviously benched him. Yes. As I said, there is when all your peers are watching in film, and all the coach has to do is just rerun. Doesn't even need to use the pointer. Just rerun plays over and over again. You could see the guy that's kind of making his own business decision. And man, listen, with Buddy Ryan or with Bud Carson, I mean, that's just, you wouldn't even, you ran the ball, you pursued out of obviously wanting to make a play, but you don't want to get caught on film, not pursuing. Because you know what's going to happen. Yeah, that would have. Yeah, and the players, we had a lot of A personalities on that defense. There would have been some talk.
I cannot imagine how Reggie White would have handled that. Someone making
wouldn't even have been Reggie. Would have been Jerome. Would have been Seth Joyner. Seth Joyner was the kind of the keep everybody, on their toes on that defense. He was the guy that studied the most. I mean, he was one of the smartest players I've ever been around, one of the most physical players I've ever been around. And man, if you weren't going balls out all the time, he was going to let you know about it.
I just wanted to ask you real quick about college. So it's only week 5 right now for college football. So it's still, early enough, but for your beloved Fighting Irish, they're ranked number 16 presently on the OLI of the AP. Now, we haven't released our BCS yet. Maybe that's a next week thing. Who knows? They're taking on number 15 Louisville. Is this a must-win game for them already? Because they're sitting out of the playoffs at the moment. Presently, this is only one of 2 remaining ranked teams on their schedule. It seems like if this is one that they lose, they may not be able to make up for this.
Yeah, I think because now if NIU kept winning and they were maybe the group of 5 representative, you could get away with a second loss, but then they lost in overtime to Buffalo, and I don't know how their season's going to go. So if Notre Dame ends up with 2 losses, they may not make it in the top 12, because what would happen is one of their losses, depending on NIU's season, would be a bad loss. Compared to another 2-loss team and whoever they lost to. So they put themselves in a tough position by losing that NIU game. This Louisville game, listen, Louisville took it to Notre Dame last year, and this is one where you want to sit there and call it a revenge game. I don't think Notre Dame's worrying about revenge as much as worrying about saving their season to be in the top 12 and be in the playoff talk. So this is about as close to a must win, as you're going to get.
They do have somewhat of a blessing in disguise from the schedule makers, where if they are a fringe team, they play USC the last week. And then again, they have the whole, we're not part of a conference, so they don't have to play a conference championship game. So they could see teams above them, if they're kind of on a bubble, start dropping out, and then they slide back in.
The big thing that Notre Dame could use as far as help before they play them is USC winning in Michigan would have been huge for Notre Dame. But USC winning, continuing to win, they're sitting at 13 right now in the AP poll, for them to rise up more, to be in the top 10. And then where Notre Dame were to play them to get that win, to beat a quality opponent. So that's where, and it's a position Notre Dame put themselves in. They would not be in this position had they not lost to NIU.
What happens if Buffalo finishes the season with one loss? Notre Dame has one loss. Buffalo beat Northern Illinois. You lost to Northern Illinois. You're getting in. Like, Buffalo should get in, but you're going to get in. I mean,
I won't even dignify that with an answer. So I think you know the answer.
Yeah. Notre Dame's getting it. I think Notre Dame can get in with 4 losses. You want to know the truth?
No. I wish, but no.
Mike, how about Penn State, Illinois? Both teams undefeated. Illinois with a big win last week at Nebraska. This is an interesting one because James Franklin, they haven't played anybody, Mike, and he usually loses big games, but this is not a big game. It's kind of a big game, but it's not the big game that James Franklin really likes to lose. I happen to think Penn State is really good, Mike. I think they have a good chance of making the playoffs. What do you think about this game? Because Illinois, I'm telling you, that defense, sneaky good.
Defense is sneaky good. Altmaier, the quarterback, has not thrown an interception. 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that's what it's about. It's about playing clean football. I do like Penn State a little bit more in this game, but you're right. The Illinois defense is a good defense, but we keep waiting for Penn State, right? We keep saying they were the third team. They were behind Ohio State, behind Michigan. Now, Michigan pulls off a big win by running all over USC. When you thought Penn State maybe could jump up and be that second team. Oregon hasn't looked great in the start of their Big Ten era. So we're still kind of waiting on Penn State. And this is a big game for them.
How about Alabama, Georgia, Mike? Because here is my problem with the 12-team playoff. This game used to have so much juice, and it still does. It's the game of the weekend. Everyone wants to watch it. Everyone wants to see how Alabama stacks up against Georgia and Georgia stacks up against Alabama. But the reality is, regardless of who wins or loses this game, both these teams are making the playoff, Mike.
Yeah, they are. But and it may not be about Georgia, Alabama. So instead of 3 through 7 that we're worried about at the end of who's going to end up number 4, now we're looking at 9 through 14 of who's going to end up being number 12. You're still going to have meaningful games at the end of the year. They may just not be the Georgia Alabamas of the world. Because I agree with you. The loser of this is still going to make it. Now, you may have the option of those two teams meeting possibly in the conference championship game or meeting in the playoffs. Any two teams playing in the conference that play in the regular season could have a chance of playing 3 times. Regular season, conference title game, and in the playoffs. So you do have the possibility of, even though the loser, I agree, is going to get in, that they would meet again in the playoffs. So now it's just shifting differently of big games at the end of the year, just like I said, 8 or 9 through 13 or 14 of wins and losses.
We've arrived at a very interesting time in college football, and we'll let you go on this note. Mike, want to get your thoughts on this. UNLV quarterback, they're 3-0. That team's undefeated. Quarterback's played well. He was made certain promises in terms of NIL and money that he was supposed to get that he has not yet gotten. So he redshirted. A team is 3-0. He is redshirted. What a fascinating time in college football. I'm okay with the kid doing it. If he agreed to something, he's not getting paid. Well, we have turned this thing into professional sports. So you don't want to play, you don't want to play.
So it is turned into professional sports, and that's why I blame the kid's agent for this. Now, the money was promised by an assistant coach who really has no business promising the money, right? Because it's the collectives. Now, the coaches work with the collectives for money to be paid to players. Now, the coach offered him $100,000 if he came to UNLV. The collective is saying, we never heard about that. We never agreed to that. We never got that in writing. Now, all these players have agents. So I won't put it on the 18 to 22-year-old because we're just starting the world of college being true professional sports. It's always been kind of professional, but true professional sports. I put it on the agent. The agent hearing from the kid, oh yeah, this coach promised me $100,000. No. You got to get that in writing. You got to get that in writing. And it's from an assistant coach, not the collective. They took his word for it. And now it gets lost in communication. So, but it is just an example of there are no guardrails up. There is nothing stopping anybody from doing anything, right? So I don't blame the kid either. This is a business. This kid's not going to be a pro quarterback. I don't believe he is. He's more a runner than a thrower. So he's looking to make the money while he's playing college, and that's fine. The system now says you can do that. But I put this on the assistant coach if he didn't tell the head coach or they didn't talk to the collective and get it as a deal done, and I put it on the representative for the quarterback to not get it in writing. But I don't. The kid wants to do what he wants to do it. It's amazing before conference play starts with Fresno State.
I know, a big game. The kid wants to do it because he now can do it. Like, I love the idea of Cam Ward. Like Miami's paid him everything. They get to the playoff, and Cam Ward holds out for more money, or else he's not playing in a playoff game because he can, Mike.
Because he can, but that would just hurt him.
Right.
Okay,
I know.
This quarterback will try and get more money somewhere else, but it has to be before games in a redshirt. There was a specific reason to it. I highly doubt a Cam Ward is gonna pull that.
No,
number.
I know, but it does beg, like, each of these teams probably needs a GM, and someone should probably be overseeing all of this. You know?
Oh, without a doubt. They need to treat it like pro sports and have actual, like Woj is going to St. Bonaventure to be the GM of the basketball team.
Yes.
You need to handle it like professional sports because you're dealing.
Yes.
You're dealing with players. The players in college have more ability to move than free agents in pro sports. It's amazing.
Yes, right. If the Bonnies basketball team needs a GM, all the football teams need a GM. Okay?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Check him out. Gojo and Golic every morning, 8 to 10 on the DraftKings Network, wherever you get your podcast as well. He's on the Bills and Ravens game. You got a good one this week, Mike.
Yeah. Looking forward to it very, very much.
All right. Say hi to Lamar Jackson for us and try to get him on the show, okay? All right. God bless football, Mike.
God bless football.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. If you're like me, you're constantly thinking about the safety of the people and things you value most. After a friend told me about a break-in in his home in which many of his most valuable possessions were stolen, I knew I needed to secure my home with the best. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off the system. Just visit simplysafe.com/GBF. I've trusted Simply Safe to protect my home for 6 years now, and the level of security and customer care has been incredible. I sleep better every night knowing Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring agents are standing by to protect me and my home. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. GBF listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/GBF. Claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/GBF. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I feel like we're aligned this week. I don't know why, but I feel like me and Chris are going to be aligned here.
Maybe. I mean, you're starting off good here. You're aligned with your hat and your background shade that you have and that weird G, whatever the hell it is.
All right, let's see if they're aligned. Just hold on a second, guys. PFD with Mike Florio every day, the Unbuttoned Podcast, Football Night in America, Sunday Night Football. He's got Notre Dame pre-games. He is a busy man. Billy, what are you asking? You're suggesting that you and Sims are aligned on something. What is that thing?
No, not a thing in particular. I'm just saying I feel like me and him are going to be on the same page this week. There's weeks that we get off and we're not on the same page, but I feel like this is one of the weeks that we are on the same page. You know something else I feel like we're on the same page about, Chris?
What's that?
God Bless Football is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
Wow, look at you, Johnny Smooth ad reader there. Wow,
Yeah.
A little Smirnoff. Okay, you guys
See how he set
throwing
you
them
up
back
and then
on
he did the whole
Sundays,
thing,
huh?
Yeah,
Man.
not Sundays for you. Thursday nights, right? We got to coach today.
Thursday night. I'm going to the game Thursday night. I'm going Giants Cowboys. I'm going to be there. I'm pumped. I mean, it's the only game I can go to all year, so I'm pumped to have the chance to go with the family and hang out a little bit.
Big coming.
Well, I think he's actually calling the game on radio for Westwood 1, so he'll be there, but I don't know if I'll actually see him. I'm sitting in the stands. I'm a man of the people. I'm not bougie, go up into a box and do stuff like that.
You had a security team at Arrowhead Stadium. What do you mean you're a man of the people?
Well, because I was in the people. I was in the people, and my company knows I'm such a man of the people that I will be overwhelmed by the people unless I have security there.
I like how you say you're going to sit in the stands like you're John Q. Public up here, where you're for sure
am.
100,
I'm train
you
to
need
work
special
guy.
access.
That's who I am. I'm a man of the fucking people. All right?
Yeah. What? Where you sit? Suite level? I mean,
no. I'm sitting up close. I'm like in the third row. I'm
man of the people.
Yeah,
Yep.
man, you want to be a man of the people.
I didn't say I didn't have connections. I didn't say I didn't have connections, but I'm sitting with the people. That's where I am.
What if the people said, "Hey, Chris, we have free tickets for you and the family. It's section 411. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I mean,
oh well. I mean, no, I'm not going then. I mean, I only go to one. Because I only go to one game, and I do have money to buy a better ticket, so I don't need a free ticket or do that. And I would like, if I'm going to go, to, yes, not be up in the nosebleeds for my one game that I go to every other year.
Billy, when he says he's a man of the people, he's a man of the people in the 100 level. Okay,
Yeah.
the first 10 rows.
Not necessarily. I sat in the 200 level last year. I do prefer
That's club
football
level
games.
Tough
I
times.
love the mezzanine level. I grew up watching my dad in the mezzanine level because I love to see the whole field, right? I just figured my kids will enjoy being a little closer to the action and seeing it. So that's why I did it this time.
Let's do this. Let's make a pact, the four of us right now. Next year, the
Yeah.
four of us will go to a game together, upper deck in an end zone. So we get an all 22 kind of view of the field. And then we can kind of break it down and you can show us what we should be looking for.
Again, no, I don't.
Oh.
And it has to be a Thursday night game. And again, I'm not sitting up there. If you want to do it,
Why?
we can get better seats than having to sit in the upper level and still see the game, okay?
But it's about company, right? Who you're watching the game with us.
It is, yes. But you're still not that cool to be sitting up in the upper deck with. So I mean, they're going to move down a little bit.
You still feeling a line there, Billy, or what?
Yeah, I'm not letting this break us apart.
Good. Me neither.
Chris, I thought it was interesting. I read a tweet from you talking about how impressed you were with Bo Nix and what Sean Payton did with Bo Nix last week against Tampa. So I will ask you this, because Bo Nix looked great. He played great in that game. What did Payton do last week that you didn't see in the first 2 weeks with Payton and Bo Nix?
I think the biggest thing, and you heard me say this a little bit with Caleb Williams early on, and I think that's changing a little bit, even though they can't run or do anything else there. They were more aggressive throwing the football. You know, I think a lot of the times these coaches with the young quarterbacks, they go, well, we'll keep it simple. We'll do plays that he's comfortable with, right? We'll get the ball out of his hands quickly. And it doesn't do the quarterback any favors in that. And it's like, oh, it's a basic play that the defense knows. Oh, it's a 5-yard throw that I got to jam into a window this tight. And if somebody touches it, it gets tipped in the air and it's an interception. So what I thought was the biggest thing, the first 3 throws of the game were down the field. They threw a go route. They threw a back shoulder route. He had a play action pass where he wanted to throw it deep. It wasn't there, and he checked it down. But it put the Bucs on notice that was like, this ain't going to be like check down Charlie and short Sean Payton passing game today. You're going to have to defend the whole field. And that's where I think it set it off, let alone they got an early turnover with a short field to get up 14-0 and gain a little confidence that way. But I think more than anything is just attacked a little bit more with Bo Nix in this one, and it backed off the defense for the first time this year.
The Steelers are 3-0. Mike Tomlin, he's amazing. They're 3-0, Chris, but I have no idea if they're any good. Are they?
I think they are good. I do. I think their running game is better than years past. The O-line is better, but still not where you want it to be totally. But they can run the ball. And of course, Justin Fields, to me, it continues to improve in the pass game. Let alone, I think they'll continue to build the run game off of him too, which will make him more dangerous. Their defense is no doubt one of the best in football. The only thing I say this week, and I picked them to win against the Colts. The Colts, Shane Steichen, I think the world of him. And even though Anthony Richardson's very inconsistent, they know how to tie plays together and they know how to run the football. I just think that Anthony Richardson's inconsistency, and I kind of bet on him to make a turnover or two almost every week, and especially against Blitzburg and all they do on defense. I like the direction they're in. I think they're a good football team. We'll see if the offense can continue to get better to where maybe can put them in a really good category or a great football team as we go forward.
We were discussing right before you came on what the Steelers would do with Justin Fields. Like has he done enough? Like, is he going to get a long-term deal there in Pittsburgh?
I think like that was part of the plan is they wanted to start Russell Wilson and kind of bring Justin Fields along to make him the long-term guy, after this year. Or at least see where it goes. Now, they've gotten thrusted into this position because, Russell's got the calf injury and all that. But I think if he continues to play the way he plays and they can continue to get better, Arthur Smith, that offensive coordinator, I think he'll continue to get better with this cast of characters as well. Yeah, I think there's a good chance he could be the quarterback of the future there. He fits the way they want to play. And like I said, I can continue to see an upward trajectory in his throwing and his decision-making that I really like. So, yeah, I think there is a good possibility, Stugotz.
TJ Watt, the best defensive player in the NFL?
Ooh, it's a close one. It's him. It's Dexter Lawrence for the New York Giants.
So good.
He's in that combo. Micah Parsons will always be in that combo
Aiden
for
Hutchinson.
sure. Well, Aiden Hutchinson, you're exactly right. There's no doubt about it. Thank you. That's saving me there, Mike. No doubt. Myles Garrett, of course, is always there in that. Here's another one I'm going to throw into here. He doesn't do it every week. Jalen Carter played the best game on defense that I've ever seen anybody play this season last week. Jalen Carter of the Eagles, last year I said he was already one of the 5 best defensive tackles in football. If Jalen Carter plays like he did last week, he is another guy that I would say is one of the best. He can do everything. He's incredible. He totally f***ed up the Saints game the other day. I mean, it was the Jalen Carter show. He'd be a guy that I think has the potential to be in that combo.
Chris, with the Eagles, are we making too much of what's going on with Sirianni, the clock management, never taking a field goal? Because they are 2-1. He's been to the playoffs the first 3 seasons as the Eagles head coach, a play away from winning the Super Bowl. Right. And they should be 3-0 if Saquon Barkley catches that ball. So are we making too much of what he does or what he doesn't do?
They get dissected a little too much, I think, just because of the last year's offseason collapse on the heels of a 10-point lead in the second half of a Super Bowl that you blew right to the Chiefs. So I think a little of that is a little of like, the shit's rolling downhill and people are looking to jump onto that, that phrase or that feeling, whatever. I do think they're a little bit arrogantly cocky at times, right? I don't understand that. I'll say that about both teams last week in the Saints-Eagles game. It was a field goal game. Offense was an issue. What the are we doing going forward on 4th and 1 and 2 on the 20-yard line every time? Why do that? Especially when you go, wait, my team is the better team on the field. If we just continue to play, the cream will rise to the top, right? I still say watch out for the Eagles. The Eagles, what you saw, the defense last week, they're still getting a feel for the Kellen Moore offense. Jalen Hurts turns the ball over too much, but he is better playing in the pocket and throwing the football. And Saquon Barkley is the superstar we all knew him to be, if anybody could ever block for him. And look at the rockets up his ass when people block for him. He is amazing.
Chris, Minnesota is interesting. They have Green Bay this week. They're undefeated. Sam Darnold's playing great. We were discussing right before you came on, like, is Darnold doing it? Like, is JJ McCarthy losing his job?
No, I mean, no, but Sam Darnold's winning a job somewhere into next year.
But
that's
not
the
there.
thing.
Chris, if he continues playing like this, why would they just sign him there, right?
Listen, they're going to have to make some tough decisions. He's going to continue to play like this. I know I said to you guys, and I said before the season, Sam Darnold has more talent than Kirk Cousins. He has more potential to do greater things in that offense than Kirk Cousins ever did. So that's where you say, watch out. Let alone they can run the football this year. Their defense is even better, and it was a pain in the ass to begin with anyways. So they got a lot of things. Like, we got to start Vikings and the Packers in this game. I think both teams, and less Vikings now, are flying under the radar. Like, we got to start saying, like, no, these are some of the best teams in the NFC. This is the hierarchy of the NFC. I don't give a shit if Jordan Love's in there or Malik Willis is in there. Green Bay is really good. Their roster is loaded. They're every bit as good as a healthy 49ers or the Eagles like you saw in week 1, whatever. So I think this is a big-time matchup. I actually took the Packers to win it because I think the Packers D and at home and the way they run the football will pose some problems to the Vikings. It's a close one. But, yeah, they might have some really tough decisions after the year. I don't know where it's going to go. It's hard to, even if they go to the playoffs and make some noise, wait, we have the number 9 pick in the draft. We thought he's the future of the franchise, and I still think they'd find a way, unless they win the Super Bowl, to move on to J.J. McCarthy.
You know, you brought up the Packers, and Matt LaFleur, like when we talk best coaches in the NFL, no one ever says Matt LaFleur, who has done it much like Kyle Shanahan with 3 different – he's done it with Aaron, he has done it with Jordan Love, and the last 2 weeks it's been Malik Willis. That team is well coached, man.
Well coached. Like, when is somebody going to give this guy some respect? He's definitely one of the best coaches in football. They play tough. They play physical. He dealt with Aaron Rodgers and the audible crap. He dealt with Aaron Rodgers and the Jordan Love crap. He dealt with Aaron Rodgers not playing good and having to deal with that, and then Jordan Love last year and what you're seeing now. He's awesome. They got a really good O-line. They got a stable of running backs. They have 3 receivers that are all damn good, right? Not one of them might not be a superstar, but they're all damn good. Tight ends go with that. The defense is loaded with talent. Their front 7 is deep, talented. They've got good corners. I'm telling you, they got it all in Green Bay. And they're learning a new defense there, too, with Jeff Hafley that just continues to get better and better, too. Don't sleep on the Packers. They are a Super Bowl caliber type of football team.
Another coaching question, Chris, down in Miami, Mike McDaniel. Everyone praises him, offensive genius. This is a guy that, one of the best in the league, right? And you've been critical, to an extent of Tua in the past. And for whatever reason, when Tua's out, things don't work out. His backups haven't been great, right? Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle are not great options. So some of that goes to, roster construction, Chris Greer, the general manager, whatever, right? But at a certain point, I guess, when does criticism go to Mike McDaniel? Whenever Tua is out, things just seem to fall apart. And then how hard is it to bring someone in and have him work in McDaniel's system to have it actually succeed?
It's the system's a lot, right? They put a lot on the quarterback. So that's where, hey, the starter and the amount of reps he gets and all that's a big deal. And we know Tua's, taken the bulk of that over the years. And Skylar Thompson's still kind of a young quarterback that way, right? They did pretty good 2 years ago, kind of weathering the storm with the backup quarterback situation and stayed competitive, right, in the wild card game against the Bills up in Buffalo. But I hear you. The offense feels nowhere near the same unless Tua's in there. It's been built around Tua. Tua's got great feel for it, right? And the one thing is, with it not being a down-the-field passing offense, it is all about those short passes and touch and rhythm and a little bit of timing and throwing the ball maybe before guys get into holes and all that, and that's where Tua is very good. And it's not easy to replicate that department. You know me, my problem with Tua is when that stuff taken away, there's no other answer after that, right? That's the issue. But when it comes to the meat and potatoes of that play, though it plays, he's the ultimate point guard for that offense. And I don't think it's that easy to run it and feel the little tricks with some of the quick decisions you got to make and all of that, unless you've had reps and a considerable amount of time running that offense. And that's where we're seeing it. And yeah, I think Mike McDaniel is going to have to adjust a little bit into, hey, maybe more basic type of stuff, and as we play more, we can grow it and get more into what we want to do all the time, and we'll see if they can weather the storm and still be successful that way. I think it's a tricky game against Tennessee this week. I picked them to win, but I don't feel totally confident about it.
Well, and in fairness, too, right? Like, Tua didn't look good the game that he got concussed. They were getting blown out. He wasn't doing great, and teams seem to have just removed Tyreek Hill from the equation so far this season. He hasn't really been a factor. And Tennessee, I think, is tricky because if you remember last year Tennessee came in on Monday Night Football when the Dolphins had an opportunity to clinch the division, and they upset them. And then the Dolphins ended up not winning the division, getting in as a wild card, having to go to Kansas City and losing that first week with the brutal weather. So the Titans knew something last year, and it's going to be interesting to see, I guess, if they still have McDaniel and the Dolphins figured out.
No, I don't know, and that's ultimately why I picked Miami last year. It was, Mike Vrabel defense, right? So I kind of felt like, hey, they got the tricks there. They know what to do. I don't necessarily feel that with Tennessee all the way. So that's where, and I don't trust Will Levis. But to your point, we are where we are here because a little bit of, it's Buffalo and McDermott, and they knew how to take away the tricks of the offense. And then it was like you said, oh no, now Tua, all those quick throws we're talking about, all that, he has to throw the ball down the field, and it became a disaster. I mean, let's be honest, right? It was a disaster. So that happened. And then you play, Mike McDonald and the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they dominated Miami last year in Baltimore in late December, if you don't remember. So he has a feel for that offense too. I mean, they won 59-17. So that's where I think they fell into a little bit unlucky with some coordinators who do have a feel for their offense. I'm not sure Denard Wilson of the Titans has that, right? But yeah, they got to find more ways to get the ball into Tyreek Hill and more ways to push the ball down the field to just open up some of these underneath windows for whoever's playing quarterback to get back to that Mike McDaniel stuff that you guys do so well.
Chris, what has impressed you the most about Jaden Daniels?
Oh, man.
He's so good.
Oh, what's not to like? I mean, first off, he's just such a consistent, smooth, accurate thrower, right? Whether it's down the field, over the middle, whatever. He's so calm at all times in the pocket. They've protected really well, which has kind of been surprising to me. They've done really well there. So that, you can see that the bright lights of the game and all of that in the NFL are not too big for him. And the other aspect that I think goes overlooked, where he has an advantage over these other young rookie quarterbacks, he's running the same offense he ran in college. Cliff Kingsbury, the guy he played for in LSU, they ran the same offense. Mike Dunbreck, who's now the Notre Dame offensive coordinator. And yes, so I think that's an advantage too, to go, wait, this lingo's the same. I know the rules, all that, and that's helped him out. And Cliff Kingsbury, I think, has done a good job of staying a little patient with the run and mixing things up more than I've seen Cliff Kingsbury in the past. We'll see if that continues. My one problem with Cliff Kingsbury is we get to week 8 or 9 of every year, and I go, wait, he has nothing more to add. There's no more tricks. There's no more wrinkles. Everybody's all over their stuff. I hope that doesn't happen, but Daniels is phenomenal. By far, definitely the best rookie quarterback so far, for sure.
I've got my entire life never being calm watching a Jet game, and I was surprisingly calm watching last Monday's Jet game. I like competent quarterback play is not something me and Mikey are used to. It was a weird feeling. I don't know how to feel moving forward. I said earlier this week on the Batard show, if the Jets want to prove to me that this is real, they will not only beat Denver, but beat them by 21 points at home. What did you see out of Aaron Rodgers? If he just continues to do that, they're going to be good, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt. I mean, again, it's an all-time great quarterback. He's, but I would say if he was in other situations, he might be the greatest quarterback ever. There's certainly arguments to be made there. I mean, as far as we talked about it, he's still got one of the quickest releases in football. He's still one of the best decision makers to ever be in the history of the NFL, right? What he does before the snap and figuring out defenses and all that is special. And that's where New England was so bland and stagnant last week. Right. I was like, are you kidding me, New England? He's going to tear this up if you just sit here and play cover 2 and cover 3. He ran that like Joe Montana or Steve Young in their prime in the West Coast last week. That's what was awesome. And no, I think it would only get better. I liked you saw him move around a little bit more again, hopping in the pocket. So it just has to be good on offense. It doesn't have to be great. If it's good and he takes care of the ball with that defense, you guys are going to be a handful and have something to say in the AFC, and I expect you to beat Denver at home this week for sure.
All right, 2 more. We'll get you out of here. It's the weekly question that Billy should be asking. He doesn't want to ask. I'll ask it for him. Is Trevor Lawrence good?
Yeah. He's good. We need more, right? I mean, we're not paying him to be good. They're paying him to be great. And what I said on my pod a little during the week a little bit was where's the Trevor Lawrence from 2 seasons ago where halfway through the year started to take over games and make plays and all of that, right? I've always questioned how great of a thrower he is. That was one of the reasons I made Zach Wilson 1 and Trevor Lawrence 2.
Yep.
He has a really strong arm, but I would say he's not a great passer. There's not great touch, the accuracy, like you saw with the bad interception down 20-3. The guy's wide open over the middle. You can't miss him by 5 feet over his head. Not in that moment. And then also, like a Josh Allen or Mahomes, when their teams are down, what do? They start to press the issue, right, guys? They make plays. They start to go, damn, I'm going to have to scramble. I have to move in the pocket. I might have to throw this ball into a tighter window than normal. I got to start jump-starting us, getting some energy. That's what I don't like about Trevor Lawrence, where I think he can improve his game. Let alone, I don't like their offense. You guys have heard me say that. It's so basic. It's so West Coast. Every throw was 5 and 6 yards down the field, and it doesn't do enough. They don't do enough. So between that and then they're not a great running team either, that doesn't help him out. But show some emotion, get pissed off, carry the team a little bit is what we want to see from Trevor Lawrence.
Billy, we have the perfect guy to ask, considering his dad was a Giants quarterback. He loves the Giants, man of the people, going to the game, all that stuff. Eli Manning, first ballot Hall of Famer?
No way. Absolutely not.
Thank you.
I mean, again, if he just, I'm like, I know he had 2 of the greatest runs ever, right? But it's a guy that a lot of the years the Giants were underwhelming because of him. That just like, I don't understand. We never said he was a top 5 quarterback almost in any season ever. He might have had 1.
Yes.
So, barely had to win the last game of his career to be a 500 quarterback. I mean, he played 1 home playoff game in his whole career. So those to me do not mean first ballot. I know he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I would question whether he really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I know he's going to make it because of the 2 great runs.
And
certainly.
the name. Right.
And the name. I mean, there's a reason he's on every commercial in the world right now. It's a concerted effort to make a push to get him in as the first ballot Hall of Famer. They're masters in that department as far as that's considered. So, I mean, I know he's going to get Hall of Fame, but
you're not even certain he's deserving of that, right?
I think the first ballot is like, no way. That is crazy. That's for special players.
Yes.
Special.
You are right.
And that's where I don't think it, nor like talking to people throughout their careers and everything. And even now nobody who played Eli Manning was like, oh my gosh, we played Eli this week. Oh no, we're in trouble. I know he won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Somebody on the defense should have been the first MVP. Come on. It was the greatest team ever with Tom Brady and the greatest offense ever. And they got held to 14 points in the Super Bowl. And all they did was sack Tom Brady all game. And we had a magical catch on with one hand on the helmet, and Eli Manning got to be the MVP. That's crazy in itself, too. So the second one, he deserves to get it. So
I heard your Tom.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting conversation here, though.
It is. I heard your Tom, Billy.
Jeez, I hope you don't run into Eli tonight. Things are going to be icy between the 2 of you.
I say these things all the time. I don't care. I don't care.
The Mannings versus the Sims rumble.
There's nothing. There's no rumble. I mean, gosh.
Wow.
I am like the biggest Peyton Manning fan in the world. I think Peyton Manning is arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. He was an inevitable force, right? I mean, he was incredible. When Peyton Manning came to town, to speak to it, first ballot Hall of Famer, the whole organization was like, Peyton's coming. Oh my gosh, Peyton's coming. Oh my gosh, we have to stay up all night to figure out a defensive game plan. I mean, I played on some teams that played the Giants with Eli Manning, and there just wasn't the same feeling in the building.
They're out the night before.
Not exactly that, but it wasn't nearly the stress level. I can tell you that.
Wait, can we get the Simses and the Mannings in some sort of steel cage match?
I want to play Thanksgiving football against each other. To be honest with you.
You do? Yeah.
But I feel like Arch kind of changes the dynamic
he tilts the
there.
Scales a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit.
PFT with Mike Florio every day on Peacock, the Unbuttoned Podcast, Football Night in America, Sunday Night Football, Bills and Ravens. Last question for you. Mike Golic told us on this episode. Well, I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to tell you his response. Is Josh Allen the best quarterback in the NFL?
Right now, he is. I mean, he's the MVP of football. Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Period.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, To me, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't give a shit. It's amazing what he does.
That's what it looks like.
It's carry the team. It's do whatever you need a big run. Yep. Oh, you need a laser. Yup. Oh, I need a touch bomb. Boom. I mean, whatever you want. He's phenomenal. The thing up there in Buffalo is like we always talked about. There's not enough support there. We'll see. They are physical. They can run the ball this year and do that. And hopefully they can bring the pass game along to where it can carry the team too, if need be, as we go. I still think that's kind of a work in progress. But, yeah, right now he's the MVP of football.
All right, big football weekend, Chris. Enjoy it. Alabama, Georgia, a bunch of great NFL games. You got your Notre Dame game. They're taking on Louisville. So a nice weekend coming up here.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. You're excited. I can tell you fucking love football, man.
Big weekend. Lots of football. Talkie, football all weekend, baby. Here we go.
All right, enjoy the people.
All right, see you guys.
It is time for this week's edition of Stu Ya Gotz, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. College football, week 5, 6-4 a week ago, 16-12 on the season. Here we go. Got a lot of games. Got to get through them quickly. Miami, -19 over Virginia Tech. Miami wins at home. They win by 35 points. The U is back. Mississippi might be the best team in the country. Kentucky gave Georgia everything it could handle last week. I'm taking Mississippi here. I don't care. The offense is good. Jackson Dart is good. Mississippi by 24 points at home over Kentucky. They get the cover. Michigan at home, coming off a big win against USC. They're -9. They're taking on Minnesota. Michigan wins. Michigan covers. Michigan by 14 points at home. Indiana, sneaky good team, -7, taking on Maryland. Buy it down to 6.5. I'm taking Indiana here. They win. They cover. The Hoosiers by 10 points. Buffalo, +6.5 at UConn. I know nothing about UConn. I think Buffalo's pretty good. Although I should say I know nothing about Buffalo. When I know nothing about two teams, I take the underdog. That's what I do. Buffalo +6.5. Buy it up to 7. UConn wins by 3. Buffalo with a cover. Navy -3.5 at UAB. Navy, a really good team. Buy it down to 3. Navy wins. They cover. Navy by 10 points on the road. And, of course, we thank you for your service. Texas A&M at home taking on Arkansas. Texas A&M wins. They cover. The Aggies win by 10 points at home. Colorado +14 at UCF. UCF is good. Colorado, they have 2 good players. I'm going to take the 2 good players, getting 14 points. Buy it up to 14.5. UCF wins the game. Colorado with the cover. UCF by 7 points at home. Liberty -3.5 at Appalachian State. Buy it down to 3. I'm taking Liberty. Liberty wins. They cover. Liberty by 10 points on the road. The big game of the weekend. Alabama, Georgia. Big game of the weekend. Alabama getting 2 points at home. Alabama's the better team this year. Alabama going to win the game, going to cover. Alabama wins by 10 points at home over Georgia. Another big game. Illinois, undefeated, taking on Penn State. They're undefeated. James Franklin never wins a big game. I'm not certain this classifies as a big game. That's why they're going to win, but they're not going to cover. Penn State by 6 points at home over Illinois. I'm taking Illinois +18. Penn State wins. The Illini cover. NFL, week 4, 4-4 last week, 12-12-1 on the season. Jeff Fisher, Packers -3, taking on the Vikings. Buy it down to 2.5. The Packers win, they cover. Packers by 6 points at home. Bucks +2, coming off a loss. They're taking on the Eagles. I have no idea how the Eagles are 2-1, the rare 2-1 team whose coach is on the hot seat. Bucks win the game outright and they cover. Bucks by 7 points at home. The Texans, I still believe, -6.5, taking on the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, is he good? No idea. Texans by 14 points. They win, they cover over the Jaguars. Bears -3 at home, taking on the Rams. Bears are -3. Buy it down to 2.5. Bears win, they cover. Bears by 4 points at home. The Falcons -2.5, taking on the Saints. The Falcons win, they cover. The Falcons by 13 points at home over the Saints. Big game. Bills, Ravens. Bills +2.5. Buy it up to 3. Bills getting a field goal. Bills win the game outright. They win by 4 points at Baltimore. They get the cover. Niners, minus 10.5. Take it on the Patriots. Buy it down to 10. The Niners blow them out. They win the cover. The Niners by 21 points at home. And finally, the Lions take it on the Seahawks. Detroit's at home, minus 3.5. Buy it down to 3. Seattle gets their first loss. The Lions win and they cover. The Lions by 9 points at home. Those are the picks, everyone. Good luck. TD. Tutty. I love a good tutty. In for 6. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code LAF. That's code LAF for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Well, here's the thing, guys. We discussed this, and we've had a bit of issues through 3 weeks. The first issue, we didn't want to count for some reason. I don't remember why it is that we didn't want to count it. And then the second week,
yes. I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was.
We agreed. We all agreed.
K-Funk cheated, so we couldn't count that week.
Oh my
so
God.
the third week, our champion was Carl. And Carl, I don't want to point you in any directions, but I feel like maybe Detective Matt is an easy person to eliminate from the proceedings here.
We already agreed. I thought we already agreed no one's getting kicked off. Carl,
Correct.
How did the detective do, Billy? What was his record?
He went 3-2, but Carl is the champion at 4-1. Now, if we were eliminating based on wins and losses, SherBear might be in danger at 1-4, but almost equally as bad was K-Funk at 2-3.
That Falcons game, man. That Falcons game was bullshit. Blame the refs on that Falcons game.
All right, let me be clear, though. Carl Douglas actually this week has something way more important to do than the pick. So Carl Douglas, he has come on just to gloat about last week. He'll promote his law firm, and then he'll get the out of here. Go ahead, Carl.
I am coming to you live from where all the money happens. These are the offices of Douglas Hicks Law. It's cloudy today in paradise. Otherwise, you'd be able to see the reaches of the Los Angeles airport from my fourth penthouse office. However, I have been on this show for 4 or 5 years, and this is the very first week that I can gloat and say without any question, there is a king in week 3 of God Bless Football that is none other than Carl Edwin Douglas, owner and founder of Douglas Hicks Law, the greatest law firm in California. My brothers, my picks have been made. You'll hear them and you'll weep. See you next week.
Yeah, all hail the king. Yes.
Hey, couldn't happen to a better guy, Carl. Are you doing the Diddy? Are you Diddy's? You doing the Diddy trial?
What? I can't talk about it, but I am involved in that case tangentially, yes.
Oh, wow.
What?
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute. When you see me in New York, you'll understand why.
Billy, just embrace that K-Funk asked the best question he's ever asked, okay? I mean, that's it.
I am involved in that case tangentially. If you see me in New York, you'll understand why.
Okay. All right. Well, when you can talk about it, you will talk about it with us. Is that fair?
Of course. God bless football.
God bless you, Carl Douglas.
K-Funk.
Probing question from Diddy.
Diddy's gonna walk, isn't he?
I got the scoop, baby.
Boy.
I got the scoop.
I mean, he got OJ off.
I love that guy.
And Mojo has a friend he's going to introduce here in just a second. We're very excited about that. So, what, Billy? Have we decided that Detective Matt is the guy that's been eliminated? Is that what you're saying? Because he's not here.
Yeah, I think
okay.
Detective Matt got eliminated last week, unfortunately.
I got spared.
Yeah.
You did. You got spared.
And Chris Humphries isn't here. I don't know if he was eliminated or what.
Yeah, you got to get Humphries back. What happened?
How did he do? I'm still in Minnesota right now. How did he do?
He had a 3-2 week, so he did pretty good.
Okay, I'll let him know.
All right. So, Mojo, this is very exciting. You have a friend that you're bringing on. You're shirtless again for a third consecutive week. Thank you for doing that. Why don't you introduce your friend? Tell us all about him.
All right, buddy. Well, I believe Mojo is the first person to bring a celebrity guest on the show. I mean, after all the K-Fun's talking bullshit has generated, 0 guests in like 3 years? Is that what the tally's at right now?
Not true, but okay.
We got Javon cursed twice,
Something
I
like
think.
that?
Yeah, you got cursed twice. Yes.
I had the best guest ever. You just weren't here last year when I brought Colleen on. Don't tell me that Colleen episode wasn't good.
Oh, that was good. Right.
Jabba got us Eli.
Yeah. Jabba got his Eli and Matt Rule. Right.
That's true.
All right, baby. Well, we got Mike Rallis joining us today, former WWE superstar Riddick Moss, former captain of a Division I football program, brother of Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator, and just all-around great guy with fantastic hair, and a football expert, unlike some of you other wannabes on this thing. So let's go.
All right.
Also,
welcome, Mike. Welcome, Mike Rallis.
Terry, who plays pickleball and thinks he's able to qualify who are legitimate athletes off of last week's bullshit comment.
All right.
Thank you for having me on. I actually made my debut in WWE as Mojo's O-lineman. He was the 24/7 champion, which means he had to defend the championship literally the entire day, every day of the week. And he needed someone to protect his backside. And literally within 3 minutes of him introducing me, I let someone sneak up from behind and pin him. So I was horrible lineman. I played linebacker in college. I didn't know what I was doing.
You didn't know how to block, Rallis?
I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing.
I guess that makes me a pretty bad coach if I selected a defensive linebacker to be my offensive tackle. I guess probably need to do better next time, if there is a next time.
Also, I think you might be a little bit of a glutton for punishment too, because you keep bringing me on these shows. And I have to say that I ended your reign as 24/7 champion. I pinned you. I turned on Mojo just a couple of weeks later, horrible O-lineman. And I then became the longest reigning 24/7 champion of all time until wrestling legend Rob Gronkowski outdid me and maintained the 24/7 championship the longest because he went back to training camp with the Buccaneers and no one could pin him there.
It was also during COVID, so legally no one could go near him. So he kind of won by default.
Wait, so Rallis, you started off as Mojo's Trent Williams, and then you flipped on him and became Lawrence Taylor or Reggie White, and then you took his belt, you took his title, and then Gronk took it from you, but had to give it back because he went to Tampa. What happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The Gronk didn't even he never got beat. He just forfeited it back because he was an active player in the NFL. He could no longer defend the 24/7 championship. Although that would have been great if he would have been playing with it on the field and then between snaps, Brady rolls him up. You know what I mean? It could have been good entertainment, but he just gave it back, and I never really pursued it again. I think that was the end of the 24/7 championship.
Yeah, I think they threw it in the trash soon after that. He ruined it.
So Rallis, when you fought Rob Gronkowski, or when you wrestled him, what do you remember from that match?
Well, that was I think there's a video somewhere online where Gronk did a big trust fall off of, this was during COVID times, and there was some tower in the performance center where we were filming our episodes, and he did a big trust fall into a group of people. And in order to convince him to do that, our 78-year-old CEO of the company, Vince McMahon, did it himself and fell onto a crash pad from 30 feet up in the air. So that's my main memory is Gronk needing to be convinced by Vince, 78-year-old Vince, to drop 20 feet onto a group of people. And then there was just chaos after he did the trust fall. We were all laying around. He got the pin, 1, 2, 3, and ran out with the belt straight to Buccaneers camp in a Super Bowl.
Unbelievable. Gordie, do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember watching it, and it was so crazy how nuts the fans were going over COVID because there was zero.
It was a strange time in wrestling. You know, you had people coming out and you just want emotion to the crowd and there's just no one there. It really wasn't too different for Mojo because the crowd was dead silent for him anyway. But for the rest of us, it was quite an adjustment.
Damn, taking shots.
K-Funk, you don't seem to be enjoying Mike's stories. Are you not happy with Mike? Do you not like Mike? What's going on here?
No, I do. I'm just, like I said, I got a hurricane coming at me. I'm drinking on some Smirnoff. It's a little early, Had a late night last night.
So pissed someone's getting attention on the show other than him.
It's what it feels like.
Anyone that can bash Mojo, I will sit in silence and I will listen.
It's about time we found someone that could throw some jokes.
Because I'm the only other one that does it. Everyone else here, they give them a little. They jerk them up a little bit on the show.
Okay.
Unlike you, your reputation's been destroyed since I've come back.
Yeah. I mean, no one jerks them off. We all like each other here,
Mikey
except for
A,
you and Mojo. I mean,
Mikey A. I'll keep quiet. But Mikey A's he's on the Mojo train. Let's just say that.
Mike Rallis, did Mojo tell you that you're committed to this for the next 20 weeks?
He did not tell me that. I did not know that. I haven't ran that by any of my people, but I think we can make it work.
Okay. Billy, what did K-Funk say that I missed?
It doesn't matter. Just keep moving.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Billy, do we have the records yet? Do we have records for the season for these guys?
Yes, we do. So let me add these up real quick. SherBear.
It's only 2 weeks, Billy.
That's 3 weeks. You guys
3
sent in
weeks.
picks the first week.
Well,
Yeah.
2 weeks that matter. 2 weeks.
Carl didn't. Carl said it didn't count because he wasn't on.
Well, that's also.
Can we see what Mojo wants to say about it? I only want to do what Mojo says.
Here's the thing.
We know you do, Mikey. We know you do, Mikey.
K-Funk finished last week 1. That's why all of a sudden we're not counting week 1. It seems.
Pretty much week 3 too.
Yep.
Mojo, you didn't win one game in week 2. Calm down.
Okay. Billy, you can tell us the totals at the end here. We'll start picking the games for this week. All right, let's start with the Vikings. The Vikings at the Packers. The Packers are -3. These are two very good teams. Vikings undefeated. SherBear is in Minnesota, so we start with him. Vikings at Packers. Packers -3.
Believe it or not, since we all talked last week, I was in Minnesota, went to Wyoming. Got to see the home of Josh Allen there in good old University of Wyoming. And I'm back here in Minnesota again before a tournament next week. So I'm going to stay with the Vikings.
Let's go to Gordie Gronkowski. He is standing by. Vikings at Packers. He is not in the police station. He has full internet today. I wish you were. I wish you just traveled station to station. Whatever city you're in, you just show up to the police station. Vikings at Packers. Packers -3. Who you taking, Gord?
Well, first of all, I think it's I love that Billy is always trying to figure out everyone's records during the show. You would think it would take about 10 minutes to get it done before we get on, but it's actually impressive.
I put him in a bad spot by asking. It's
Gordie coming in from the top rope on
I like that. Yeah, Gordie. I
know Gordie's record. Gordie's record's not very good, if you're wondering.
You didn't add up last week, though. You're still trying to count it all.
1. Yeah.
We love you, Gordie. Who you taking, man?
I am going Mojo. Played and almost played for the Packers. He made it in preseason, but couldn't make the team. I got to go with Green Bay since they gave Mojo a shot.
Okay. K-Funk, who you taking here?
One of the best pictures on the internet, if you guys want to Google it, just Google chubby Mojo and Packers. He's got some chubby cheeks. I'm going Packers. Go Mojo.
Right, Billy, do you have Carl before I get to Mike Rallis?
Yeah, Carl has the Vikings this week.
All right, so Carl is taking the Vikings. Mike, who are you taking here?
Well, I'm from Minnesota, so they're my hometown team, but I haven't forgiven them since they traded Randy Moss way back in 06, 07, or before that, actually. And that was actually my namesake in WWE. That's why I was Riddick Moss, was because Randy Moss, I'm such a big fan. So I still haven't forgiven them. I'm going Pack. Jordan Love is back this week in Lambeau, Packers.
All right, Rallis, what do they need to do this season for you to forgive them? Like they're 4-0, they're 3-0. I mean,
if they pay homage to Randy Moss. I mean, that's the key, because it was a big thing. Everyone was talking about addition by subtraction. I was like, no, this guy is the most explosive receiver. I wrote a paper in college about how he's a better wide receiver for his quarterback than Jerry Rice was. I mean, I was a Randy Moss super fan, so it still stings. If they can do something to pay homage to Randy, maybe I'll get back in the fold.
Okay. What if they win a Super Bowl before they do that, though? I mean...
I can't bandwagon hop back on. I like to have bandwagon hop. It's a hobby of mine. I hopped on the Bucks and the Brady Pats and Gronk Pats, but I've done a lot of bandwagon hopping already in my life. I'm gonna stick with my principles now.
Okay, all right, I like that. No one on this show has principles. Welcome. Let's where is Mojo? Packers -3 hosting the Vikings.
Gordie's making my pick for me, as you can see.
Okay, yes, he made he made the pick. All right, I'm going back to you here, Mojo, because I don't know how long we're gonna have you. Bucks +2. They're taking on the Eagles. Who you taking here?
Ooh, I'm gonna take the Eagles because they're the furthest from where K-Funk is centrally located.
All right, let's go to SherBear. SherBear, who you taking here?
Honestly, I've had some good times. BK Funk and Gordie down in Tampa Bay at the Ship. Hit up a little scores afterwards. I think I'm going to go with the Bucks.
All right. Gordie Gronkowski, who are you taking here?
And those that don't know what Scores is, that's a nice restaurant with great food.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It actually does have great food.
Yes. It does have great steak.
And just because I love their food, and I know a guy who played for them who may or may not have won a Super Bowl. I got to go with the Bucks as well.
Okay. Let's go to K-Funk. K-Funk, did you pick this one already?
No, I didn't. But yeah, shout out to Scores. They do have a 5-star steakhouse in the back behind the pole. Great place, great establishment. I'm going with the Bucks this week. I think Baker's going to bounce back. Their defense looked terrible, so give me the Bucks.
Behind the pole. Who's Carl Douglas taking here?
He has the Eagles in this one.
Okay, he has the Eagles.
How about Carl Douglas literally never winning, finding a way legally to throw out weeks 1 and 2 until he can finally get a dub and then immediately take off.
That's what a good attorney does, my friend. Yeah. I mean,
clearly.
I'm glad we finally got to. I'm glad we finally got to see him in his office. That was nice.
Right, that. He actually works for a living. Let's go to Mike Rallis. K-Funk, you asked the best question of the entire episode of your life. I mean, you should retire on that note. Mike Rallis, who are you taking to this game?
Philly's beat up right now, and they just haven't been the same since they lost that young up and coming linebacker coach Nick Rallis a couple of years ago. Lost him to the Arizona Cardinals. So
right,
I got to go. Besides, I'm gonna. This might be my first real bold take on the show. Philly fans are the absolute worst fans in the world. So I'm going with the Bucks.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. I like that. Right. It just dawned on me why the Cardinal game is on the slate this weekend for our 5 games. And I will start with you, Mike Rallis. The Cardinals are at home -3.5. They are taking on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Who you got?
Look, the Commanders have looked real good. Jaden Daniels has looked real good, but let's just say, Gordie, I understand being the older brother and being outshined, playing second fiddle to a young stud brother, Nick Rallis, the D coordinator. I got to go with the Cards, man. Let's go.
Gordie, how do you feel about that? I mean,
I actually feel great that he's going with them because, I had 3 years in Phoenix, Arizona. I made it all the way to single A in pro baseball, and spring training was right next to their stadium. I mean, so I was
Gordie,
so close to MLB.
All the way to single A?
Yeah,
start
all
out
the way
at
to
single
single
A?
A. I missed single A, double A, triple A, but I made it all the way to single A.
Yes. Didn't you win a championship?
I did. I will take credit for that.
There you go.
I feel like Rob is living in Gordie's shadow, just to be honest.
Same.
I'm
with you.
I could be completely wrong. I can
add some color on that. I mean, Gordie is absolutely the best partier of the 5. Was, is, and always will be.
Thank you, Mojo.
That's all that matters, Gordie.
That's what counts.
It is.
Who cares who played in the NFL? I mean,
$900 a month, or be the best partier.
All right, let's go to SherBear. SherBear, we have Commanders at Cardinals. Cardinals are -3.5.
I'm going to have to go with our man Mike. I like his reasoning, and going to just go with the grain here. Go with the Cardinals.
All right, Billy, who did Carl Douglas take?
He took the Cardinals also.
All right, he took the Cardinals. Let's go to K-Funk. This is going to be fun. K-Funk, who you taking?
I mean, I said this before the season. I thought Kyler Murray is going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. I'm still saying it. Give me the Cardinals.
All right. Well, it's Jaden Daniels, who's the top 5 quarterback. Let's go to Mojo.
They
Mojo.
both are now. Come on.
No, Kyler Murray's not a top 5 quarterback. No, he is not.
He will be. Fantasy
he
football.
Won't be. No,
Fantasy
he won't
football.
be. No,
Fantasy
he will
football.
not be.
He said it before the season. So
Fantasy football.
Yeah, but he's still sticking to it. Like he's played well enough to be considered a top. He's not. I mean, why am I yelling at you? Anyway,
I think whatever Mojo thinks.
Okay. Mojo, who you taking here?
You see, I'm in a tough one with this pick, fellas, because we got Mike Rallis on the show. He came in guns blazing, taking aim at me. So I would love to bury both him and his brothers and take the other guys. But especially when I played for the Cardinals briefly for about a half an hour. But I did go on record last week and say I am from the D.C. area. I've never been a Commanders or Redskins fan in my entire life, and I would never pick them. So now I'm head-to-head. So I guess at the end of the day, there's only one logical move to make here, and I got to put all these secondary hatreds aside and just go back to my bread and butter of opposite funk.
All right, we have Bills, Ravens. Ravens, this is a big game, man. Bills might be the best team in football. Josh Allen might be the best player in football. The Ravens are at home. They're -2.5. I will start with you, SherBear. Who you taking?
You know what's crazy is even though I said Wyoming was a boring town, I kind of became a big Josh Allen fan just to see how much he's done for that city. There's a lot of different, like, just so much homage that they've been paying him charity wise. So I'm going to go with the Bills with Gronkowski and go with little Josh Allen with this Wyoming connection.
All right, K-Funk, who you taking here? Bills, Ravens -2.5.
I mean, are we really going to say this? The Ravens are going to be 1-3? That's crazy. I can't go against Allen. He's a monster. Give me the Bills.
All right, you're taking the Bills. Let's go to Gordie. Gordie, who you taking here?
BUFFALO.
All right.
My hometown.
Let's go to Mojo. Mojo, who you taking?
This is why you guys need me on the show. This is why you missed me on the show. Such boring picks. Everybody picking the same guys. There's no controversy, no trash talk. So, of course, I'm going to go with Maryland all day, every day, whether it's college or pro. Doesn't matter. Give me the dirty Terps and that beautiful Maryland State flag.
All right. Well, stop moving. Mike, who you taking here?
Everyone said it. I hate to. I agree with Mojo. I hate to go chalk here, but the Bills might be the best team in football, and they have the spread as well. So I go Bills.
All right, going Bills here. Mike, I'm going to start with you here. Seahawks at Lions. The Lions is a Monday night game. Seahawks are undefeated. Lions 2-1. Lions are 3.5-point favorites at home. Who you taking?
Yeah, I mean, as Mojo's former O-lineman, I know how difficult it can be for quarterbacks with leaky O-lines. And so I think this game is won in the trenches, and the Seahawks have been off to a great start, but it's going to get a lot tougher this week. I'm going Lions in Detroit.
All right, SherBear, who you taking here? Seahawks, Lions -3.5.
You know, it's been a while, I feel like, since Seattle's been on the block here. So I'm going to go with my Seattle Space Needle. They did me well last year, and it's a great place to be, especially over the summer. So I'm going with Seattle.
All right, bringing the Space Needle back. I like that, SherBear. Let's go to Mojo. Mojo, who you taking here?
Guys, I give you the keys to the kingdom every single week. I instruct you in real time how to put on a successful, entertaining podcast. I just said somebody's got to break the mold here, and then everyone starts picking the same damn team again. So give me the other guys.
He's a big Dan Campbell guy, too.
All right. Wow, you're friends with Campbell?
He tells us every week.
Yeah.
I said 1 week, but yeah, I would say it every week. I am a big Dan Campbell fan.
All right. Let's go to K-Funk. K-Funk, have you picked this?
All right,
game?
Mojo, you want some controversy? I'm going to go opposite you on this pick, and I'm taking the Seahawks.
Wow.
Carl took the Lions.
All right, Carl took the Lions, and I think the final pick is Gordie Gronkowski here. He is bouncing up and down in his chair. He's very excited for this game. Lions, Seahawks, Lions -3.5. Gord, who you taking?
I am excited to tell you guys that one of my first ever threesomes when I was visiting my brother Dan, who just got drafted.
Threesome?
Was in
one of the first ever, yeah.
All right.
So I got to go with Detroit.
Mojo, you want to tell us about your first threesome?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Anyway, I have the records here.
Thank you, Billy. Sorry,
Curious.
I was trying to think of my first threesome. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll keep thinking. So the records are: we have two people tied at top with a 600 win percentage, and that is Chris Humphreys and Detective Matt are in first place right now.
They're not here.
They were never on the show.
They gave it to
Guys,
me.
I have a special guest here.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
She was actually on your show 2 years ago. Remember when we did that? What was that other show you had?
Oh, Stupidity?
Remember I was at a bar with the two of my friends?
Yes.
That was her.
Oh, okay. Are you making picks?
Go Sports, she said.
Are you going to be making picks for us?
Yeah, sure. Make picks. Why not?
Random fire. Give her random rapid fire. Hurry up.
Okay, ready? Vikings at Packers. Packers -3. Who you taking?
Packers.
Good.
Yeah.
Eagles at Bucks. Bucks +2. Who you taking?
Bucks all the way.
Commanders at Cards. Cards -3.5. Who you taking?
Commanders.
I like this. Bills, Ravens. Ravens -2.5. Who you taking?
Definitely the Bills.
Okay. Seahawks, Lions. Lions -3.5.
Seahawks for sure.
Oh, Mojo on the way out. Please promote.
Who are you talking to?
Well, hold on. We never finished the standings, so I don't think anyone really cares about the standings other than K-Funk is underneath Carl in the standings. Carl has a better record than K-Funk.
I was 3-1-1 and 2-3. So
you're 7-6-2 on the season.
Let's get everyone out of here. Gordie, you want to promote something on the way out? Mojo, I'll go to you last. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm pretty much promoting it. It's right behind me. Gronk Fitness from design to delivery. If you need fitness equipment for your home, your gym, your multifamily, fire station, police station, love you all. Thanks, Detective Matt, for having me last week. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on the show.
Yeah. All right. Gordie, next week, top 5 threesomes, okay? I want to hear all about them, all right?
All right. Let me call a couple people after this, so we can discuss.
All right. We love you. We love you, Gord. Get out of here. Anything you want to promote, SherBear?
No, I'm just happy to be here, man. Good to see everybody. And I'm excited to get Big Mojo on the pickleball court. Maybe he'll be the best athlete in this chat soon.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for it all show.
Rallis, you want to promote anything on the way out here? Thank you for doing this, buddy. Seriously, we appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on. Once you get your Gronk fitness equipment and you want to know exactly how to use it, you need a good program, head to RallisRegimen.com. That's my last name, RALLIS REGIMEN. Regimen.com. RallisRegimen.com. We'll get you a customized program, exactly everything you need based on the equipment, the time you have. We've done it all. We tried it all. We know it works. Head there.
Hey, shout out to Mojo for bringing someone else on that bashed him today. That was a lot of fun today. Thank you for bashing Mojo. We love it.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
That's how badly we needed it.
Pleasure.
I had to bring on somebody who was going to bash myself. Like that's what I had to do this week. You guys left me desperate over here, but I know how this game works. This is the money part of the show. Rallis is talking about the Rallis regimen over there. And I'll tell you, the Rallis regimen works because just a few weeks ago, we had a big event sponsored by our good friends at DraftKings, the Pro Wrestlers Combine, which was the pro wrestling version of the NFL Combine, getting 8 of the biggest, baddest, strongest, fastest pro wrestlers on the planet to compete. Rallis actually won the title at that event. And if you want to check it out, go to the Maven Huffman YouTube channel because he will be posting a recap of the entire event. And the best part about it is if you are a new customer with DraftKings and you use promo code COMBINE, all new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $200 in bonus bets. So check it out. Promo code COMBINE with DraftKings for all of your sports betting needs. And head over to Maven Huffman's channel and watch the Wrestler Combine recap where Mike Rallis, spoiler alert, won the crown.
Stay safe. Stay safe, Mojo. Stay safe.
Mojo is safe. You need to stay safe.
I was literally just in the pool.
Right. You're in the eye of the hurricane. Mojo is
I know.
All right.
Love
So stay safe.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
We love you guys. And we'll talk to you next week.
Not hot.
Mike, thank you for doing this, man. We really appreciate it. It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, buddy.
God bless football.
God bless football.
God bless football.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. If you're like me, you're constantly thinking about the safety of the people and things you value most. After a friend told me about a break-in in his home in which many of his most valuable possessions were stolen, I knew I needed to secure my home with the best. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off the system. Just visit simplysafe.com/GBF. I've trusted Simply Safe to protect my home for 6 years now, and the level of security and customer care has been incredible. I sleep better every night knowing Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring agents are standing by to protect me and my home. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. GBF listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/GBF. Claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/GBF. There's no safe like Simply Safe.